So I've been learning foreign languages since I was 16 years old, so going on 7 years now. I started off learning German when I was 16. Shortly after that, I started doing Spanish, about 17 and a half. And I've done Italian, English, obviously, still working on that one. But I've also dabbled in things like Greek, Farsi, Ukrainian, other things like that. And I've had a wonderful experience with it. So what I'm going to do right now is just share a little bit of the things I've learned over the past 7 years of learning these foreign languages to conversational level. So the first thing that I have to let you know first and foremost is that in order for you to do, or my experience, to do this the best, you have to have fun with it. All right, you have to have a dopamine rush. For me, it was simply enough to just go over to people that were speaking Spanish, Hispanics, and just go over and start talking to them. You know, start off, even if you know they're speaking Spanish, just start off with a question, say, hey, you guys speaking Spanish? And then just hop in there, start saying something, you know, go and have a fun time with it. And get out of, you know, it's really does go to getting out of that whole comfort zone thing that we always talk about, all right? People always talk about get out of your comfort zone. And it's very true, you know. It's a daunting thing to go and talk to a native speaker some other language. You know, you're like, I'm not good at this, and I could look stupid, and I could mess up. And that's difficult, all right? But the reward is that you have memorable experiences. So I'd say first and foremost, you're going to have memorable experiences, all right? That can be with dopamine, and that can be simply just getting more of your emotions, getting more of your senses involved in the experience. So one example is this man by the name Gabriel Viner. He's a polyglot currently. He has this one story of, he recounts this one story of a man going to a Nordic country, and in this Nordic country, he's in a bar, and then because he's the foreigner, the people at the bar get him this drink, right? And they're giving it to him. And now imagine this setting. You're in a bar there, you're with a bunch of Norse people, Northerners, whatever they may be, and everyone starts chanting, Moktor, 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 pounding on the table, stomping their feet. And then this server comes over with a shot. The shot has alcohol and it has some sort of lard, oil, something like that on top. And then they light it on fire. And they're chanting for you. They're chanting for you, Moktor, Moktor. And then you take the shot, down it. It burns a little bit on the way down. It's on fire. And it's this crazy experience with all your senses, your taste, your hearing, your sight, your sound, everything. It's going through you. And this man, for the rest of his life, never forgets what Moktor is. Why? Because it was a memorable experience. Okay, it had his emotions involved and his senses involved, and it was something that he wasn't so sure about. And then he went through with it, and he was able to remember that word. Okay, remembers what Moktor is. It's this very distinct drink. All right. So in my experience, the most effective way has been to have those experiences, whether it's going down to a party in Mexico. I was at a party in Mexico one time, and I learned a bunch of awesome things from these wonderful people, all right? Memorable experience, music, you know, tequila and some wine, and people and friends and dancing. Wonderful opportunity. I remembered so many things from it, all right? And then, like I mentioned before, just going and talking to people. Talk to people that are Hispanic. Talk to them, people that are currently speaking Spanish, and just jump in there. It can be scary for sure. But the thing is that when Hispanic people see you trying to speak their language, I don't know what it is. They're just enamored by it. They're just really enamored by it. And they get so excited, and they're like, oh my goodness, wow, you speak my language. The amount of times that I've had a Mexican mom say, tú hablas bien en español, tú hablas muy bien. It's like, you speak very good, you speak Spanish so well. And it's invigorating, it's wonderful, and you feel like you're wanted and necessary and important, and it's so great, and it really gives you this and this wonderfulness. All right. So it has to be memorable, something that gives you dopamine or something that gets your senses and your emotions involved. That's going to be my first thing, okay? The second thing is going to be when you learn things, right? You have to go and speak from day one. I'm going to say it again. You have to speak from day one. All right, that can start off with just talking to yourself, saying the phrase that you learned, saying the sentence that you learned, and then jumbling the words around a little bit, and then saying that phrase, right? Ideally, you want to go and speak with human beings, actually use this stuff there, right? Have people interact with you, interact with other people in it. All right, it gives you human connection. Not only does it give you human connection, which is a memorable experience, but also, scientifically speaking, the more that we get our senses involved, the easier that it is to remember, okay? So there's a study from it's about 15 or 20 years ago now, I forget the name of it, but the people in the study noted that the more senses that you have involved in your memorization, the easier it will be to memorize things. So for example, if I'm trying to write a poem or memorize a poem, it's great to read it. Wonderful. It's great to read it over and over again. Sure, that gives a certain percentage of memory retention, okay? But what if you add writing on top of it, okay? So you read one of the first line of the poem, you know, Arma virum que cano, Troiae qui primus aboris, if you know that one from the Aeneid, I believe that's from the Aeneid. All right? You see the sentence written out, and then you start writing it, okay? So you've done two things. You saw it, and then you wrote it. You have two faculties involved, all right? Now imagine this. You see it, and then you write it, and as you're writing it, you're saying it. Troiae qui primus aboris. All right? You're going through it. Now you have three things involved. You have your sight, you have your writing, and you have your speech involved, okay? Now imagine this on top of that. You have the sentence, the first sentence of that poem that you're trying to memorize. You have that playing. You've read it. Then you start writing it. And as it's playing, as you're writing, you are saying it. Then you have now four things that are involved here. You have your sight, you have your hearing, you have your writing, and then you have your actual speaking, okay? The more that we get our faculties involved, our speech, our writing, our listening, our other senses, the easier that it is to remember things, okay? And so this goes back to exactly what I was saying before, which is speaking to human beings from day one. What is speaking from day one? You can hear yourself and you can test yourself. You can hear yourself speak. You can also test yourself with you know, how much people are actually understanding from you, all right? Do you just sound like you're not, you know, you're just speaking gibberish, or do you actually sound like you're actually making sense to these people? And you can pick up on those cues. And the more cues that you get, and the more practice that you have, the easier it is to remember things and to get more comfortable with it. So, two things. Number one, memorable experiences. Number two, speaking from day one and getting more of your faculties involved. All right. Lastly, well, actually, I forget what I was going to say lastly. However, those two things are going to be extremely important. All right. Dopamine is going to be huge for making memorable experiences. The other one is speaking so that you can have that vocal and audible repetition there. And that makes your memorization and your overall comfort with the language so much easier. All right. Now, you can give me a message, DM if that's possible. It's not possible on YouTube. But if I put this somewhere else, DM me. Or a message, oh my gosh, a comment in the comments. And yeah, maybe we can do a video call, set up a time to talk, to be able to go over these things. If not, then I'm going to continue posting videos of singing, shorts of me singing, and just shorts throughout the day like I've been doing. And I was also requesting on my last live to do an all Spanish live, so we're going to do pretty soon a Spanish live solo. So, all right, God bless. Catch y'all later.